Yeah, this same friend, I invited him over for a sleepover during the holidays. Brought his laptop and we were playing Phantasy Star Online 2. And this was like the first time I actually had a friend that came over to sleep at my place because of how strict my parents were. Luckily for me, they allowed me to have a friend over, and so we just played. We didn't study at all. Jokes aside, and truth to be told, I didn't study for the whole year anyway. So, yeah. And so he brought his laptop. I was on my laptop, and we were playing on the same table. All right, he was sitting right next to me on my left. Emergency quest came up. It was sort of like a raid boss. We both went in and started playing. Right at the start of the freaking match, I thought this guy was just stretching backwards, But he never returned. Like, he just, stretched and never returned. And I was, playing and I was like, that's a really long-ass stretch. Like, I turn my head left. I see him sleeping on the chair. I'm like, how the fuck did this guy just stretch and went to sleep? With lights on and everything, music blasting. I'm like, what the fuck? Thank goodness for me, PSO2 is a game where you have auto run. So I auto run his character to the corner and just, get this shit done with. Got it done and I'm like, alright, it's pretty late, I'm gonna go sleep. But I'm not gonna carry his ass to a bed or anything, so I just chuck a blanket over him. Okay, I chucked a blanket over him. It wasn't like a nice, tuck him to bed kind of. It's just just cover his entire body with blanket. Like, I didn't care if it covers his face. And I went to sleep. And the next morning I woke up, he was still in the same pose. Okay, I was actually worried at that point. I was like, this guy is still in the same pose. So I woke him, so I tried to take the blanket away from him. And, well, luckily there's a reaction indicating to me that he's alive, and he was holding a blanket and I had to fight him off the blanket, I tried sprinkling water on his face. I tried, slapping him and he couldn't wake up. And I'm like, well, at least he's sleeping. I'll just leave him be. I'll just go grab breakfast or something. I won't care about it. But at least he's not dead in my room, so. I do have a few friends that could sleep while gaming, and I've never understood that concept. I've never slept while gaming before, so it's a really weird concept to me. And lo and behold, this guy in college broke his record for sleeping by sleeping for 3 fucking days. By that time I wasn't in my home country, I was in Australia. And I was like, we usually chat a little bit about games and stuff every day. So, at least we keep in contact. For some freaking reason, this guy disappeared for 3 days. I didn't know what the fuck happened. I asked his friends, I was like, hey, you're in the same university or college as my mate. What's news around there? Why isn't he replying in 3 days? It's like, I don't know, I didn't see him in 3 days either. I'm like, what the fuck? You didn't see him 3 days? You're living right next to it. It was a wild concept, how did this guy disappear for 3 days? And the next thing you message me is like, oh, I just woke up. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean you just woke up? It's like, let me check the date. I was asleep for 3 days. What? Obviously, during that gap of 3 days, I didn't know if he was asleep. I'm just telling you right now that, in advance that he was sleeping. Because I thought he was dead during that 3 days. Because shit happens with this guy, okay? There were all kinds of stupid shit. And supernatural, I guess you could call it. So for the supernatural part, it's this was back in high school. And we both brought our phones to school, right? Because, even though the rules state that we can't bring our phones to school, we just brought it anyway. So it was after school. Luckily, I looked at my phone and this mate of mine was calling me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked at my mate right beside me. I'm like, why are you calling my phone? And he looked at me and it's like, what the fuck? And he checked his phone. It's like, no, I'm not calling you. I'm like, well, it says here is your number with your name on it. I'm not gonna pick that shit up. I mean, we exchange contacts, and you know, if it's a stranger calling me, I know it'll be a stranger calling me. But you're holding your phone, I'm holding mine. You're not, you know, there's no dial-up on your phone, but somehow I'm receiving a call from your phone, which was really weird. It didn't spook us or anything because it was like bright in the afternoon, and we just like, man, shit, your phone haunted, man. Like, what the fuck? That's it, man. That's some supernatural shit.